Okay, we're going to go through the basic hand positions. Um, there is, of course, one way to just go into Gasho, Reiki Ho, and then just go where your guidance tells you to go. But the standard hand positions for Reiki are as follows. And you should spend about 3 minutes in each position. The first is over the eyes. Okay, you have to imagine that there are eyes here. I generally hover because you don't want to have your hands, on top of somebody's face, but just hover over the eyes. And if we were in person, I would have you experiment, and I would encourage you to do so on your own. Experiment with a client or with a volunteer and see which feels stronger, hovering or right on it, and you'll be able to play around and feel the difference. So this hand position is treating predominantly the third eye, all of the pineal gland, all of that. That's first position. The second position, I always think of this as like see no evil, and the second position is hear no evil. I cup my hands over the ears or out maybe 1.5 inches, 2 inches from the side of the head. And this is continuing to treat all of the glands that are in the head, the brain. Spend about 3 minutes there on the side of the head. And then the next position, do your hands like this and then cup them over the crown of the head. And your goal is to send Reiki through the crown chakra. You can also hover out here. Sometimes, depending on what kind of a hairstyle someone has, sometimes I will do this and put my hands, because I'll be seated usually. I'm seated and it's easier to reach that way. Sometimes though, I will just beam it straight through the crown. The next hand position, there's a trick to. It's underneath the head. So what I like to do, it's kind of hard with this dummy, but I gently turn the head this way, slide one hand under, and then turn the head gently this way, because people want to lift up and help you, but we want them to be relaxed. So just turn their head the other way, slide this hand, and then let it rest. Now my fingertips are right at the base of the skull, and my hands are cupped like this, right under the head. I notice when I'm in this hand position with a client, you'll notice a change in their breath. It seems like once your hands are under and the Reiki is flowing to the back of their head, I don't know if it's because it's like a memory of being a baby and their heads being supported by their mothers, but people tend to really relax. Your hands will start to go to sleep. And if you're trying to do hands-off Reiki, of course you can't do this one. But this is the hand position where people seem to let go the most. Okay, same way, I tilt their head, slide one hand out, tilt their head, slide one hand out. Make sure that they're still relaxed. The next one you have to be careful of. You're going to, well actually here, shoulders. Do your hands like this. Your thumb goes under the shoulder. Hands like that. Very gently on the shoulder. If the person has really broad shoulders, like a lot of times with male clients, I will do this and then turn my hands just like this and set them like this on the shoulder to cover the entire shoulder because they're really broad. Now this is the one I said was tricky. So you feel like sort of like a vampire, like hovering over someone, like they're about to drink their blood or something. But the next position is you're not touching, but your hands are sort of cupped like this and my fingers are overlapped. And I'm coming around, and what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to beam the Reiki right here at their throat chakra. So if I'm seated, it kind of comes around like this. And I turn my head to the side because you don't want to be, breathing on people. I've had people, one specifically, a woman, who said, oh, you can't do that, because she had been strangled and she needed a lot of work on that throat chakra. But what I had to do was go ahead and move to the side and do it from that side. So that is the last one that you do from the head of the table. So it's eyes, ears, crown, under the head, shoulders, throat. So if I can't do their throat from that way, I will just come to the side and beam it here. And your manual doesn't show this, it shows the other positions, but that's fine. Okay, the manual shows the heart and the back of the neck, which I frequently will just go to the heart this way and hover above it. But the manual shows you moving from this to one hand under. And the reason I don't do this position so much is because I have women with long mermaid hair. Sometimes it's difficult, and I don't want to disturb them. I want my clients to be relaxed when I'm working on them. But you're supposed to go under the neck. So you've just done the front of the throat chakra, now you're doing the back of the throat chakra, and then high heart. So you're like this. One on the back of the neck, one on the high heart, which is right about here. Because especially with female clients, you don't want to, you can't just go right here like you can with the man. You want to grab their boobs. So the manual shows you doing this hand position. Frequently though, I will come to the side and do the heart. My mentor, Julie Russell with Orange County Reiki, does this hand position and teaches her students this, and I really like it. She does like a cross, high heart and this heart. So you can usually, even on a female, you can touch up here because it would be like right about there, and that doesn't feel uncomfortable. And then right there, that's going right there on that heart chakra. So that is not an official ICRT hand position, but I like to do that sometimes. Then I move, what's the next chakra after the heart? Your solar plexus. So go right to the solar plexus and do your hands. The fingers kind of go right here up against the palm of the other hand. And this is how we do the other hand positions. You can either hover above or, because I like touch. Of course, now here with the pandemic, we don't need to be touching, but it's either hovering here and beating Reiki to the solar plexus chakra, or right there, about 3 minutes there, unless you're guided to do a little longer. Next is right about where the navel is. This is your sacral chakra. And you spend about 3 minutes there. And just depending on, then you do a little lower. Because you're not going to do the actual root chakra because you don't want to get anywhere close to anyone's privates. And in fact, if I feel like this is uncomfortable, and you just follow your inner guidance a lot, but these are the basic hand positions. If I feel uncomfortable at all, I will just beam or treat the root chakra from the legs. There is not a position for the legs. However, frequently I will treat knees because a lot of people have trouble with their knees. This looks funny. But you jump to the feet because you have lesser chakras in your feet. Another healing modality that I do, reconnective healing, we call those the Christ points. Which is a horrible thing to think of, like, but if you were crucified through your feet, that's exactly where that chakra is. So it doesn't matter which foot you do first. I usually do their right foot. So, and their foot will usually be kind of turned out like this. So the first thing is you take the palm of this hand. Imagine that you are sending energy, your energy is coming out of the palm of your hand. So I'm putting it in the arch of their foot and over the top of the arch of their foot. And that is sending energy to the root chakra. I do this foot, and then the other foot, same exact position. Just imagine that you're putting the palm of your hand there and there, and wherever it's comfortable. If you are in a position where you are uncomfortable the Reiki will not flow. So if it's more comfortable for you to sit down, and listen, I have a lot of clients come in that are completely ungrounded, and I have to spend a lot of time Reikiing their feet. So a lot of times I sit down on my little rolly stool. So you've got to be in a comfortable position so that the Reiki will flow, because if you are uncomfortable, it's not going to. So I do this foot, and the last thing is across the top of where the ankle joins onto the foot. And this is sort of like, okay, this is cracking me up. This is balancing the energy. There's also a small chakra right there, a point where it's like the top of your ankle, where it connects to the foot. So this would be the last hand position that you do on a client. A session usually takes about 45 minutes, so we say as a guideline use about 3 minutes per hand position. Then when the client is finished, the manual says to turn the client over. Generally though, I do not, because I would say half of my clients fall asleep. By the time I'm down at their feet, they are asleep. But if I did turn them over, what you do is, here, just pretend this is someone lying down the other way. You come to the head and you do shoulders from this, just like you did on the front. And then you move and you do just 3 hand positions. You do across the top of the shoulders, the solar plexus, the lower back, and you finish with 1 on the lower back and 1 at the back of the heart. But again, I don't always turn people over. Then the last thing that you do is you're going to seal up the session. We're probably watching this video in Reiki 1, so you could just put your hands on the client if you do this at home tonight and say something like, I seal this healing with divine love and wisdom. I seal this healing with divine love and wisdom. I seal this healing with divine love and wisdom. Or something else that you would do to bring closure to the session and to give thanks for the opportunity to spend time with this person and to be a channel for the Reiki energy to help this person. And then you can ask the client, what did you experience? You know, kind of, sometimes you have to wake them up. What did you experience? If you have Reiki 2, then you're going to use the power symbol to seal up. Some people like to kind of sweep the client off after you've sealed it, just to kind of any like energetic debris. And then what you will always do at the end of a session is the Kenyoku, the dry bathing, where you put the right hand on the left shoulder down with the intention of breaking any ties, cleaning any energy. Left hand on the right shoulder, down 3 times, and then the inside of the arm, 1, 2, 3. Of course you don't do this while the client is looking at you. It's because it looks like you're brushing off cooties, but just to mentally break with the client and to clean off any stuff that you may have picked up during the session. Okay, so those are the basic hand positions, and I can't wait for you to try it.